Hi, and welcome back to Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch. It's July 30th, 2013. I just figured I'd give a little bit of an update. Some things in the garden are dying back, dying off, and there's a little bit still going on. Uh, just wanted to show you a few things here. This is my Mr. Wrinkles pumpkin that I hand pollinated probably month, maybe a month and a half ago. Excuse me. And I'm noticing that there's a little bit of a orange banding, a little bit of orange starting to show through on the pumpkin. It's not the completely solid green anymore, so it's starting to turn a little bit. And so it's probably reached the size it's going to. You can notice the barrel shape of it. I don't know how many pounds it is. I don't want to estimate it. But some bugs have been trying to attack a little bit. They take little nibbles out of it and all that. So thank goodness it hasn't rotten the fruit inside or anything like that. So that's my main one so far, at least the bigger one, it appears. Right behind this leaf, here, let me move this one out of the way, is another Mr. Wrinkles. I think this is actually on the same vine as the one I just showed you. So it'll be a first for me getting two pumpkins on the same vine. I'll have to double check that later on in the season. Still have a little bit of new growth. You can see right here, this healthy leaf right here. So I still got a little bit of growth. There's still more vines going on, like right here. Here's some vine that's still coming out there and doing things. And I've been tying the vines up to the trellis as I go along. I had another pumpkin. You can see right there on the ground. I've been cleaning up a lot of leaves, but that one right there, that one I thought it had gotten pollinated a couple weeks ago or so, and it started to grow and then kind of stopped. And I figured, oh, this is going to be the run of the litter, you know. But then actually, what happened, it stopped growing and it started to rot on the vine. So I don't know. The plant decided, I'm changing my mind about that one. So it didn't continue to grow. So that just kind of shows you how, it could start to develop, it could start to grow, and you say, oh, it's pollinated, and then a little while later, nah, change your mind. So, anywho, I've been dealing with powdery mildew quite a bit. It's very humid in my area, and I've been dealing. Unfortunately, I had to deal with squash bugs this year. I didn't have to deal with them last year, and I don't know. Last year I was using 100% neem oil, and I had quite a few marigolds. This year my marigolds in the beds have not been very plentiful, and they have not really done a whole lot. That's on me. And the neem oil used this year was 70% neem oil. So I don't know if the combination of those two things, which are a little bit different from last year, is what has allowed these squash bugs to invade this year. But yeah, I've been dealing with them coming out here, taking the eggs off, and getting a few nymphs here and there, which are juvenile squash bugs. So I've been dealing with that. Every couple of days or so I come out and I check. Last night I came out and found another 6 or 7 leaves that had eggs on them. Who knows how many more I may have missed. So you just come out prepared with a soapy water mixture, ready to go hunting, if you will, in case you see some of the actual bugs themselves. Soapy water mixture, regular dish soap and water in a spray can or a spray bottle. It takes care of those squash bugs right away, especially the nymphs. The adults, you spray them, saturate them down a little bit, they'll walk away, and eventually they'll come to their end. So that's just a little tip for that. Soap, like I usually do, like 1 tablespoon of regular dish soap, whether it's Joy, whether it's Palmolive, or whether it's Dawn. 1 tablespoon per gallon of water is what I use. Shake it up and go hunting. So here's some of my tansy down here. I've cleaned out the beds and things about a week or two ago, a couple weeks, and slowly going to get things ready for fall. Little bees, leave me alone, buddy. So anyways, and I'm going to try to bring in some mushroom compost to, you can see some of my marigolds right over here. But yeah, I'm gonna try to bring in some mushroom compost and amend these beds. I might take out some of this stuff because I just don't think it's very nutritious. But that mushroom compost is definitely nothing really going on in the tomatoes. I pulled one out, pulled some basil out, put it in some water for some fragrance for the house. Pulled off like 3 small little cucumbers. So really nothing else going on. The basil seems to be loving the heat and everything. And so back over here to the pumpkins. Sunflowers are pretty much done, but the pumpkin vines are still growing. These are the ones that have come down. You see, I've taken a lot of leaves off. I have, I guess that's just the normal life cycle of the plants, I'm guessing, that the leaves keep dying back, and so I keep coming out and trimming them, and keep coming out and spraying, baking soda water on the plants to try to hold back the powdery mildew. Alright, so anyhow, let's see. Might be hard to see. Let's see if I can zoom in. I think you guys can see it from right there. They got one leaf in front of it. That right there, that dark object right above my finger, and goes right up through that leaf and just a little bit above it. That is my Howden pumpkin. Now, a little interesting story about that one. That one had grew inside one of the squares of the trellis, and actually before I could get to it, it had grown big enough and got stuck in the square. And I didn't want that to damage the pumpkin or keep it from growing any further, so I very carefully was able to manage it out of there. And now I think it's continuing to grow some, and so things are looking good with that. It's gotten a few little nibbles from bugs and everything, so hopefully nothing will happen to it. But but it's not turning yet. It's still very dark green, so that tells me it's still got more time for it to grow some more. So out here, more vine growth coming out here. It's been coming up, and I keep trellising it up. And right there this morning, it may be a little hard to see. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. I got a little white tool material on it. Okay, and I'll explain what happened there. Last night I came out here and I was squash bug hunting and everything, and trimming leaves off and stuff that were just bad. And I noticed this is a female flower, and I noticed it was going to open up tomorrow morning because the fruit was good and solid green, plumping up a little bit. The flower petals were yellow and puffy, so I knew that this was going to open up tomorrow morning. So I then started scouting around for male flowers and finding out how many am I going to have, because the male flowers have kind of been far and few between now. 2-3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, oh man, it was just male flowers galore, and all that. So now the male flowers have kind of, I only had like maybe 4 or 5 this morning that opened up. So I got up real early because I wanted to beat the bees out here, because they haven't been very successful at pollinating my stuff this year. So I came out here extra early, snagged all the male flowers I could find, 4 or 5 of them, and went to town, started pollinating that female flower. And shortly after that, the bees started coming within 5 or 6 minutes after I was out here. And as I was still kind of working more pollen in there to try to really make sure that this thing was going to get pollinated, huge big bumblebee came buzzing in. That, of course, chased me off, which is what he wanted to do, because then he was right on the female flower that had all that pollen on there that I had put on there. And I'm thinking to myself, man, he's going to sit there and take all the pollen and take it back to his hive to make honey. Well, I don't want him to take the pollen off of the female, because otherwise, it's a possibility in my mind anyways that it's not going to get pollinated. So I took a PVC pipe and kind of tapped on the flower petals and the stem leading to it to try to chase them off and everything, get them out of there. And meanwhile, I'd already tore off a piece of that tool material, which is that white material right there, and that little netting, fine mesh. I tore off a small piece. I scared the bees off long enough, and I was able to quickly put it on there. And then, I come back a few seconds later, and there's those bees on top of that tool material trying to get back into the female, and they couldn't do it because I want that to, pollinate. So maybe in the next couple days, I'll know for sure, hopefully, that it got pollinated. Bear in mind what I just showed you about that little fruit on the ground over there that looked like it was pollinated, but just stopped growing after a week or so. So I guess I learned a little something about that. So we'll see if that one pollinates. Here is another pumpkin flower female right there. That opened up about, I think this is day 2 for that one. And it has grown. I can easily tell it has grown since it first opened up. That, I don't think I did any pollinating on that one. I think the bees were successful on that one. It looks like it's growing. And everything looks good with that to go. We'll see if it continues to grow over the next couple weeks and doesn't stop growing, because I think sometimes in my past, gardens, I've had some pumpkins that started to grow for like 2 or 3 days. It looked like it was good, and then it stopped. And then the dark green started to fade away and started turning into a lime green, and they started getting mushy, and it was done. So it's a good shade of green, and it looks like it, and that's a Howden, just like that one I showed you up there on the trellis. It looks like there's some more female male flowers back there I missed. It opened up this morning. But anyways, I had, to my surprise, I had 2 or 3 other females that have opened up in the past 3 or 4 days that I didn't even know about. And I'm trying to find them. Oh, there's one right there. You can see that. But I seriously doubt that those got pollinated. The male flowers, like I said, have been far and few between. And so I have like 2 or 3. So like here's another female flower right there. And honestly, it's a little hard to tell, but that one looks like it may have gotten pollinated, but it's usually they start to swell up even bigger than that, so that makes me think that probably didn't. But it kind of looks like it's gotten a little bit bigger than what it did yesterday. But it's a little hard to tell. We'll see in a few more days if it continues to grow. But I mean, that should be bigger than that if it got pollinated. Now these were little small ones. Even when the flowers did open up, I mean the pumpkins were very tiny. Usually they get a little bit bigger on the when they're getting ready to open up, and then within the next 2 or 3 days, if they got pollinated, they'll really open up, start to get bigger. So anyways, you can see now, look at that vine is going all the way up to the top of that trellis now. So anyways, I hear more bees buzzing around. I guess they're not liking the fact that I've blocked their entrance into the female. I've come in here and cleared off some stuff. I don't think I'm going to be able to see it, but there is a small pumpkin. When I came in here and cleared out some dead material a week or so ago, I did come across a small little pumpkin inside the bed, and I think it's behind those leaves back down there. And so I have a few pumpkins, like I said, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, if you count that little small one that's back over there, on this one for sure. I dare say 5 for that one right there. And then over here on my other ones were the Big Macs, the Cinderellas. I don't think I have any Big Macs that got pollinated this year. As you can see, hopefully the lighting is good. These pumpkins have turned orange. Now, remember they were yellow a few weeks ago. So they're turning orange, and I'm still going to leave them on the vine because though they're not going to get any bigger, they still the Cinderella pumpkins tend to turn a little bit more reddish orange before they're done. So, these are a good shade of orange, and here we are July 30th, So I'm going to leave them on a few more weeks and see if they start to turn a little bit more red. All right, so from Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch, we'll talk at you later.